Hey, how y'all doing? This is Steve Dash. I was the guy who was Jason in Friday the 13th, Part 2, with the bag over the head. Not like the regular guys. And you're listening to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. I am Tim O. Over there is my partner in Mindcry, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Hurdy-Gurdy Man Harley.
Hey, Tim O.
How's it going, buddy?
Not too bad, but just trying to get back in the swing of things here.
Yeah.
You know.
Just got back from Vette City Con and the space-time continuum as you're hearing this. It's the Monday after another excellent, fun Vette City Con. Down in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Corvette Museum. A fine establishment. Fine place.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Really nice.
Yes. And our good friend, Mr. Dead Hammer.
And Casey
and a couple of his buddies, too. They put that thing together. And I know the partner guy he does it with, but I always forget his name on the spot. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I got lots of names going through my brain piece, Mr. Ben Harley.
Tim,
info.
I'm the worst at that.
Yeah, I know, me too. Me too. So that's why we use nicknames for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
We had a good time. Let's run down some people we saw.
Let's do that.
Let's see. Well, first of all, you got a little one-on-one time with Mr. Hillbilly Jim, didn't you?
Yeah, the guy I was talking to him. We were having a good conversation. Next thing I know, I woke up and I done put the sleeper hold on me. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I said either. Yeah, but no. But no, he was it was a nice guy to talk to, and got a little autograph from my brother and stuff, and gave him he wanted a Sasquatch shirt, so I gave him a Sasquatch shirt, and it was nice to talk to him. He knew a little bit about Toledo, and wrestled. I told him I'd seen him wrestle out of Toledo, back in the day, and but just a nice guy, and he looks really good. I don't want to say this, but for a wrestler of his age.
Yeah,
an ex-pro wrestler, but he was telling me that he had, I think he retired when he was 40, though, maybe. So he, and he's in his 60s now. So I think that probably helped a lot as well.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
He did make a good point while we were talking that not many sports, or there's probably only one sport, being pro wrestling, that you could be of an age that people will still come see you.
Right.
Because, being a football fan and me being a hockey fan that goes to baseball and basketball, all that.
Right.
You get to a certain age, they kindly ask you to go. You know what I mean? You're not going to be 50 years old.
Right.
Very few exceptions to the rule. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some guys reach their 40s and have played 20 years in the big leagues. But, and it was a good point.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that will still come see, and I can't even tell you how old probably the Sheik and Bobo, some of the times that I saw, the last couple times I saw them wrestle, they were probably in their 60s,
or
later.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
But, it was really nice to meet him. What a nice gentleman. And he took his time and talked to me, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was trying to school me a little bit, but I told him, I said, I know, I've been there. No, I'm just
Did he say potentate when you walked up? I thought he would have recognized you. He did like the name, the Potentate of Hate. He found that quite funny. So, yeah. So. Angie was a little surprised. Angie was a little surprised because he was kind of my favorite wrestler when I was a kid. Not forever, but for a minute there, he was like my favorite wrestler. She's like, why don't you go talk to him? I was like, I just didn't have anything to say. I mean, I was just like, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I didn't have anything to say. He seemed like a really nice guy, though. It was very cool to see him there. Very cool he's doing that well. Like you said, it's very cool to see he's doing that well. But that's fun to see him. And then let's see, we had Steve Dash was there. I talked to him a little bit.
Was. Yeah.
Our good friends John and Stacy Dugan.
Yep, they were there.
Got to talk to them, and of course,
and
Michael.
Hang out a little bit.
Yeah,
with them.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, Michael, Casey, and let's see, all good. Our I guess fourth wheel in Mind Crime. We have Angio with us most of the time. We had Mr. DVD Bob Slendorn, and had Clifford.
Was he Clifford? Yeah,
buddy. Clifford's one of those guys that we know who comes out of the ether. He just floats out of nowhere, and then he's friend. And then he hangs out, went to dinner with us and stuff, and then he just goes back into the ether, somewhere. So I know I've spent quite a bit of time sitting with him at the table because I know he's helped Bob at a couple of shows that I've been helping at too. He just comes by and kind of helps out a little bit too. So it's good to see him. And see Chuck Farrell was there again. That was cool. Yes, sir.
Good to see Chuck. Yeah, the Brady kids there.
Yep, the Brady kids were there.
Brady kids were there. And they were pretty nice. Talked to them briefly. Who else did we have? Tony Moran was.
Yeah, Tony Moran was there. We got to see our good buddy Mr. Jeff Byers from Creature Replica. We met at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and I don't think he's going this year. I'm not sure why. I asked him if he was going. He said no, and then he just kind of didn't say much else. So, but hopefully he'll be back next year. I
picked up a Skookum or a Skookum from him.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Skookum, so I have now 3 Bigfoots representing 3 Bigfoots and a Yeti from Creature Replica. Yes, I have my own Ohio one now, Bigfoot. I think you got the North American.
I picked up my first one.
I got a North American one as well, but the Skookum is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I just got that out, and I'm really excited about those. He does have a few others that, and it's funny, Tim, you and we're werewolf guys, and I know he has a couple werewolf ones, but we're gonna see. I do like he has the Mothman? Beautiful Mothman one, but that's a little pricey right now. I'm gonna have to save.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Turn in some Coke bottles or something. Or turn into
a Coke dealer. One of the two.
Yeah, there you go.
It's worth it. It's just that we're not worthy of its worth.
Yeah.
Right? So but it's very, very nice stuff. So it was good to see Jeff, and then see Dustin, Stephanie Haven. We know them, and then we saw we had the Wrecking Crew. Wrecking
right
Crew.
Next to us.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Brandon James and Sir Shannon Van Meter.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
James was having fun. It didn't take much to show him a good time on Saturday. He wanted to stay in our bathroom and things like that. And so he was just a real agreeable fellow this weekend.
He sure was.
So that was fun.
I know we did try to watch a little Santa Claus Meets the Ice Cream Bunny.
Oh, yeah.
It was
probably a bad idea.
That's hard when you're sober. That's a tough one to keep up with, much less when you're a little tipsy, as I was. So
right.
I came home with a nice new wine bottle too from a good friend of mine.
Couple good friends.
Dan O'Savin.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, got some Jaws wine. Got some Jaws wine. Yeah.
Yep. Timo and Angie brought me, a nice little bottle to share with them.
Mm-hmm. And I did get permission from Dano because he did get that for me for Christmas. And I said, listen, I'm keeping my King Kong and I'm keeping my other ones. I said, but I can't. I kind of have to at least ask if I can give Mr. Old Ben Harley the bottle and share it with him so he could put that in his Jaws collection.
Yeah, that got me a little tipsy. I thought I was Hooper at one point. But yes, it's already on display, my friend, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, and Angie and Dano. Yeah, that was fun.
But it was another good show. What I liked about the show is that it didn't change much. They didn't add a bunch of parties and things, and there was I'd say at least twice as many people.
Yeah, I will say though that they had a few more vendors this year, which made it, I think, and nice and good vendors too. A lot of artists. I think there was one other T-shirt vendor, maybe or two, and but it was really good. Yeah, and people real friendly too. For the most part, and it did well. This year. So and I think they're just it's getting better and better for them. I think next couple of years that'll be quite a show. Right. Too, and and I'm proud of them guys. They're really they're doing it the right way too.
Yeah. I bought my first Billy Tackett print, so that was nice. I've seen his stuff around, so that was kind of cool. And then
I got a good Billy Tackett Godzilla print of him at Cincinnati the one year where he's destroying Cincinnati. I don't know what Cincinnati did to him, but Godzilla still.
Yeah, I got that. And then there was another, I can't remember this gentleman's name. The guy when you walked into your right and he was at the Chinese, you didn't go to Chinese restaurant on Friday. I think he retired.
No.
Yeah, you didn't do that. But we went out there and he was with us and I can't remember his name, but he had some nice prints and I bought Mr. Ben Harley a nice Ramones.
Yes, yeah.
But that was some good stuff he did.
Very excited. That gentleman was wearing a Dick Hammer shirt that I had made for them years ago. And we talked and he said, yes, my favorite shirt. And I don't know why they didn't. This was my favorite thing they did. And I was like, oh, I know a guy who did that. He said, oh, yeah, who? I said, me. And so, nice guy. He had a nice War of the Gargantuas print. Mm-hmm. I got a Ramones print from Timo.
Yeah.
And the guy was even wearing a Johnny Ramone shirt on Sunday. So I think he was pretty cool in my book, at least.
Right.
He was cool meter kept going up and up. So.
Right.
But yeah, nice gentleman there.
Sure. Yeah, so we had fun and, saw some more familiar faces and it was nice, I mean, I like it because there was a few more people this year, like I said, but it's still not like ridiculous. Does that make sense?
And I guess I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's a very vendor friendly show.
Yes.
And that helps.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us that are going to these shows who are the base of these shows that bring in the money to start these shows.
Right.
Yeah, it's really important to us, a lot of us, to make money at the shows, and stuff like that. So it was good. Right. It reminded me of, and you don't want things to stagnate or not go forward, but it was nice to felt like when we first started doing some of these,
kind of a retro feel.
I feel that way too, and it was nice. There was a couple other artists there that I talked to and some other people, and I know I talked to a few people about podcasts and stuff, but it just seemed like I don't know, I just feel like a vendor's show. Now I know you had some celebrities and stuff, and that was cool too, and I think that, but you didn't have 35 of them, and you didn't have $55, prices for autographs and things like that too. Right. So people could spend some money on some shirts and some little things.
That helps the celebs, just like it helps the vendors. If there's not too many, it's more focused. It's a good focus show. So and Michael does a great job, and crew and his partners and everybody else. They do a really good job, and we're gonna keep going, Ben Harley, because this is we are basically retired now from the convention community, but we can't, not the community, but just actually going to them. And this is going to be the one we do. This is going to be just the yearly stop, the year end, the Super Bowl, if you will.
Super Bowl, yeah.
So, which by the time you hear this, that'll be over too, and I haven't seen it. So no spoilers, all you people in the future. So, but it was a good time again, and I do believe they will be doing it next year. And I'd also like to say congratulations to Michael and Casey. It sounded like Michael's little squirt's grown into a human squirt.
Yeah,
yes, baby.
Sir. Yeah, very, very surprised at that. Oh, no, I shouldn't say surprised. I was very pleased to hear.
How did that
surprised
happen?
Me when I got there. Yeah, how does that go? I thought, where's the
you ought to know.
Come
on.
Yeah,
I don't believe you.
I know. Right. Well, I've done it at least 4 times. I guess.
Right.
But yes. Very, very happy for them. I'm excited. So, and it couldn't happen to nicer people. So.
Right. So we'll be back next year, and that will be the show. I'll be helping Bob a little bit if he needs it, and this and that, and I'm sure we might make an appearance. But as far as our official little convention, we have an official little convention. Now, we'll just call it that. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And no, that doesn't mean we disrespect other ones. It has nothing to do with that. So don't get us involved in all your drama. We don't care. We just like shows, and this is the one that makes sense for us. Time of year, distance from home, number of days, price, you name it. This is the one that fits. So anyway, but congratulations to them for having a good show, and it was good seeing everyone again.
Yes, it was.
And then if you didn't make it this year, you're going to have to make it out next year, end of January next year. I'm sure you'll be hearing about it again.
Yes.
Well, let's run through a couple things we watched real quick, Ben Harley. I didn't get much because we were at Vette City Con. Let's see here. On Amazon Prime, ready? Because I think this is all going to be Amazon Prime. All of it.
Okay.
All right. So just consider it if I've seen it this week. It's on Amazon Prime. First up, a brand new movie, at least brand new last year or so, or whatever.
Okay.
The Monster Project.
Okay.
It's a found footage movie. All right. And it's they rent a spooky mansion to interview 3 people who claim to be real monsters. So they're making a documentary. And they put out these little ads. Are you a real monster? Do you have lycanthropy, vampirism? Like for real, do you have this? So they get, of course, a Japanese gal who, or maybe she's Korean, but she's got a demon possessed on her. They have a really strikingly pretty blonde gal. Doesn't act very good, but she's a very striking woman, and she's a vampire.
Okay.
Then they have a skinwalker, Ben Harley. A skinwalker, a Native American guy who is, interestingly enough, he is a reservation police officer. And he's also a skinwalker, kind of a werewolf, basically. So,
kind of, yeah.
It's not
a lot going on.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
It's a neat idea. It's a little different. And most of these things are just ghosts. Most of these found footage movies are ghosts, so they can throw a toaster across the screen while the camera's shaking around and it looks good. But this one gets a bit wild. It gets a bit off the rails. It kind of goes.
It sounds a little.
Well, it goes from like a Paranormal Activity to a Exist almost. So it goes like in a hyperspeed in a bit. It's interesting enough to watch.
Okay.
There's a twist at the end that I saw coming. But it's fairly well hidden. It's okay, But it's called The Monster Project, so you might enjoy it. Enjoy it. I'm not sure. So it's certainly not super slow.
Okay.
It creeps in. It creeps into the movie as most found footage things do. They kind of lull you a little bit, but they're always talking about monsters. So it's at least interesting enough to listen to. Another thing, Amazon Prime once again, Mr. Ben Harley, Angio and I watched City of the Living Dead. Otherwise known as Gates of Hell from 1980 with Lucio Fulci. Directed by Lucio Fulci. Starring a Christopher George.
Really? Okay.
This is the first of the trilogy that has The Beyond and House by the Cemetery. So this would be like the first of that, according to what I was looking at. Pretty good. This is one I kind of forget about. I always know I like the Gates of Hell, and it's called now. Like they keep releasing it under City of the Living Dead. That's fine, but Gates of Hell is another title it was released under here in the States, and it's such a cooler title.
Yeah.
Can we just stick with it?
Nah.
Okay. All right, but anyway, it was fun to watch.
I haven't seen that in forever, and I remember a group of friends of mine that went to see it. When we were younger, they snuck in to see it, and I remember them telling me about because doesn't the one girl she just vomits up on her entire inside or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Right.
And I remember seeing it, but it's been a minute, But I just remember them telling me about that when we were kids and how they were just so blown away.
Right. Yeah.
We were kids. We were pretty young at the time.
This one's a creepy one for the kiddies. This one's this one will give you some nightmares. And as an adult, it would give you nightmares trying to follow the plot. So let's see here. Moving on, Mr. Ben Harley. That was good.
Sure.
Enjoyed that. But moving on. Yeah. Actually, I ordered that on Blu-ray as well because I had fun watching it. So, but it is on Prime and it looks fantastic on Prime in HD. So
good.
Let's see here. Benny Hill's World Tour, New York. Oh, baby.
Love me some Benny Hill.
Well, I was a little gun shy about watching this because I think it was from 91. Little bit up there in the years as far as I'm used to the late 70s Benny Hill or 70s, older Benny Hill stuff. And but I have to admit, this guy was funny. I mean, this was good. I mean, I always liked Benny Hill.
Yeah.
But he hadn't lost a step at that point. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So that was fun. It was very good. I miss the really old man, though, that was in their fast motion skits.
Yeah, the one I used to slap on the head a lot.
Yeah. They had the more cantankerous older gentleman, the more heavier set one, but they didn't have the skeletal, Little guy, that's always great.
Little guy.
Yeah, I missed him.
Yeah, but Benny Hill's just great. As a kid, that was one of my favorites to watch.
Me too.
Just love it. You know,
we were talking about that at Vette City, weren't we? We had Bizarre, Benny Hill, and all those kinds of shows that we had fun with. So, let's see, Mr. Ben Harley, also on Amazon Prime. Watch Psychotronic Man, which is just a goofy. It's a goofy movie about a guy who has, I guess, uncontrollable psychic energy. When he gets pissed off at somebody, they just they die. And the thing is he looks exactly like Schneider from One Day at a Time. So that makes it a little odd. Watched also Blood Mania.
Blood Mania?
Yeah, looking for more blood and more mania.
Okay,
in the movie. Didn't really, that one, even with all the nudity, like the 70s nudity, it just didn't pull me in. That's about it, Ben Harley. That's all I had besides Vette City, and so what you got?
Let's see, Timo. You know, I watched only a few things too. We can touch on. You know, I've been going through. I haven't talked much about Vikings. On is it 6th season or something like that? But yes, they're right now. Something like their mid-season. I don't know, hiatus is coming up, but. You know, it's come a long way as a show. Like, the main character has been gone for quite a while now, you know, and now it's like Ragnar Lothbrok was his name. And so now it's all about his kids, you know, and stuff, and they're infighting, and they're not getting along real well right now, Timo. Yeah, and he has one son, Ivar the Boneless. So he's not all boneless. But he was
Ivar the Boneless?
The Boneless, yes. And the thing with him is he was born crippled, right? So and they were and so they were going to, you know, back then they, you know, you pretty much that's a death sentence right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but Ivar survived, and Ivar's he's a little bit it's a loose cannon. Let's put it to you that way. But he's it's funny because he's like he's tactically much better than his other brothers, even though he's you know, crippled and things. He you know, he leads a pretty big army. But yeah, good stuff, Timo.
Nice.
It's starting to, you know, it's coming to a head. There's going to be, you know, they're whacking people off, you know, all over the place, you know. So I'm sure Ivar will be soon, you know, sooner or later he'll be gone too.
They'll be fighting Hagar, the one leg longer than the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Over descriptions of people. It's like a Japanese movie or something.
Yeah. But not bad, buddy. Not bad. Let's see here real fast. Watched the Chasing Bigfoot. You and I have been talking about this a bit. Yeah, so I watched another episode, or I finished an episode and started another. I think there's 5 altogether. I think they're only like a half hour long. But I did make an observation that we have finally made it, Timo. That all the years I've been watching Bigfoot documentaries and all these things, we finally made it on one.
Nice.
Speak to us. You see us from afar,
right?
At the Bigfoot conference. So, it was kind of neat, you know. So I've made it. I finally made it in the Bigfoot world. I have arrived, right? And so, I'm very excited about that.
You were in a room with Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, and there was a camera there. There's a camera about, so it's time. It's you sort of feel like a researcher at this point, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I do. I looked like one. Kinda.
Yeah.
You looked handsome, Tim. You're wearing your Nassau shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, you're NASA, not Nassau.
Right.
But NASA shirt.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you know, it was those aren't bad. They're, as far as some of the Bigfoot documentaries go, it's pretty good. Yeah. I have enjoyed them. They do talk to quite a few people. I know throughout the Bigfoot community.
Right.
But then there's also, you know, it's nice they talk to a lot of people that we know too. You know, and just, you know, people that come to the shows, and then they touch on a little bit of some more famous sightings and things. But they actually had a couple pieces of footage on there that I found quite compelling too, which was interesting. So, excuse me. But I did enjoy that. So
Good.
Chasing Bigfoot. Everybody gets a chance to look at it on Amazon Prime.
That was shot at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Right. That's why we were in it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So, nice. Right.
But it's not. What's cool about it's not just exclusively that one.
Yeah. It's just fun when you watch one of those. There's been a couple of documentaries on Blu-rays where they shoot like the extra features at Horror Hound, and you're like, hey, there's my table.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat to see.
Oh, it's real cool.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see when they're doing the interviews and all the different things. Like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where they're at.
Right.
All the different things. And
right.
It's cool. And they just they show like different things. Bigfoot Museum, a gentleman has, and some other stuff. So yeah, it is interesting.
Right.
One thing I caught, Timo. Now I know we talked about here recently. Was called The Truth Behind the Lies or Truth and Lies. The one, it was I watched the Tanya Harding one, and then I watched the Waco one.
Right. Yeah.
So I just started watching, you might be hip to it, maybe not, but Spike Television has now turned into Paramount Network.
Yes.
And I think we might have talked about this before. So yeah, it is official now.
Right.
So, but what has kind of been is cool. They got a lot of shows coming up that looks like they're redoing some things, television shows, or they're taking movies and making television shows. But this one happens to be also about Waco, and it's a 6-part mini-series, hour-long episodes about Waco.
Right.
And from what I can tell, I watched the first episode, pretty good. From my vantage point, I guess, and just watching the credits and stuff, it's based on like a book from one of the survivors, and then also a book of one of the negotiators.
Oh, okay.
FBI negotiators. So you're getting a little bit of both,
right?
And I think they're trying to find somewhere in the middle, maybe. I don't know.
Sure, that's probably where the truth is, right?
Yeah. And there's quite a few actors in it. I know John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo.
He's in it.
Yep.
The gentleman who's the main FBI negotiator, I apologize. I know you would know who he is. I can't remember the gentleman's name. Sorry, Timo.
That's all right. I can't remember anybody's name. We just missed about 30 people from Vette City Con, and this is because I just can't. I'm seeing face after face after face, but we love you all. We love you all.
Right, exactly. But like I said, the episode I watched was pretty good. It was showing some of the stuff that's coming up, which looks pretty crazy too. But I still, the David Koresh thing, it was funny. They show him his band. He goes to do a show, and then there's no drummer. His drummer doesn't show up, so they find this kid. But they have them playing My Sharona. Which is kind of funny, seeing David Koresh singing My Show. I know it's not David Koresh, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. I hear you.
But yeah, it's they're kind of making him out to be like he's not so real crazy, I guess, his character in this, but as much as it's just some of it's very bizarre and awkward. Like he basically, a lot of the women and stuff in there, the way he laid it out in this is like he is taking on the burden of sex, not for his own kicks, Timo. But he's taking on the burden of sex
I do this
for
too.
everybody else.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but like all the other guys have to be celibate, and then, and basically the children that he is going to father will be the 24 people that will sit in judgment on the end times.
Okay.
So that's pretty easy to swallow, don't
sure.
you think?
Yeah. Whatever.
Right?
Yeah. It's all easy to swallow to me. Yeah.
The one thing though that, because I was wondering like, how did he get, like these people, like a lot of them were not all of them. Some of them were well-to-do people that had all what they wanted. And, this one guy, he was a theologian, he was going to he was getting his PhD in theology, and he, him and his wife they're living in Hawaii, and they up and left and moved to the plains of Texas, Waco, Texas, the dirty plains of Texas, with no running water, no, you know what I mean?
Right.
So my thing, how do these people, but like, this guy kind of explained, and you feel bad for this guy because this guy, him and his wife, trying to have kids for the longest time. Well, along comes David Koresh, and then she gets pregnant. He's still having a hard time with it and dealing with. But the whole thing is that he brought the reason this guy came there is because someone gave him a tape of David Koresh and how he could break down the scriptures, and his understanding of the scriptures was like no other, and his understanding of the Bible, and that this guy even said he's memorized the Bible. Who does that?
Right.
I don't know. But anyway, so
I saw it on my Snooty Sling because it said they They have
it's
it Paramount.
Been pretty good so far.
Yeah, they got it on. Right? They got it on Sling, and I almost hit replay because they had it like on demand, like to watch that first episode, but I didn't. You know, the thing is with me is I kind of sometimes I'm be honest with you, just being honest. Yeah, I have a little bit like the only time that these like weird like I got a hard time with the Scientologists and the Mormons for being a cult, okay? Yeah. But I don't really, the only difference I see between them and David Koresh is scope. Yeah. That's it. It's just scope. Now, here's a difference. Hold on. Here's a difference. The difference is if you're a pedophile, then you're dealing with people who can't make that choice. Right, so that's different. So if it's one of them dudes, because there's those douchey guys that say, they got you're 12 now. It's time to be deflowered by the God man. No, don't do that. Now, if people on their own free will, adults, come around someone and find their religion through that, who am I to say that's not correct for them? No matter how weird, no matter how sexually infused anything is. So I do have a bit of not empathy. Believe me, not empathy, but I do have a little bit of sympathy by a well-run. I have friends in cults that I've lost friends over. I don't blame the cult. I blame the friend.
Sure.
So that's it. I mean, that's just really is. You got to be smart enough to know this is for you. And if you're going to make these choices, it's you ostracizing yourself from the rest of the world, not the rest of the world coming down on you. That's where I think some of these things lose their sight. Like things happen like they happen. And I do know that I know the Waco story pretty well. I've seen a lot of in-depth documentaries coming from both sides, and it looked like just a bad deal. People could have done things different and saved a lot of lives in that thing.
This is a lot of it too is, and this is what's cool in this, it touches on Ruby Ridge.
Yes.
Which,
big deal. Big part of that. Yep.
Started a lot of the, well, this is the thing. FBI went in there and then they messed a lot of stuff up.
Yes.
And then they ended up dropping it off in the lap of the ATF and made the ATF. So then the ATF, in trying to make themselves look a little bit better, get involved in this David Koresh thing.
Right.
And it just gets worse. They trying to save face.
Right.
Doesn't work.
Oh yeah. Without Ruby Ridge, this would have been totally different. Waco would have been totally, and Ruby Ridge is quite a tale too, and that's
it was just a family, living on their own. But the guy was selling sawed-off shotguns.
He had a sawed-off shotgun that was like an inch too short, and then they blew away his whole family over it.
He sold one to an undercover cop.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
and then him and a agent got into a shootout, and his son got killed, and then later on his wife got killed by like a sniper or something. Yeah,
it was a bad story.
It stirred up a lot of, and which trickled all the way down through Oklahoma bombing. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't know. This story interests me. I've known a lot about it. I watched it unfold on television. Sure. I watched the Ruby Ridge unfold on television. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But just what we were getting told then too, compared to what, really happened, I guess, or
makes you think, don't it?
Yeah, exactly. And
in today's terms.
And I know, Timo, I hate to be like this, but nobody said running a government was going to be easy either. So I also know that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's
so the show looks
really
okay?
Interesting.
Okay.
I think you'd enjoy it, buddy. Yes, for sure. So it's something maybe you and Angie could watch, and it's a 6-part type thing, but it's just the way it's good. The way it's set up is pretty good. It's more like a movie, not movie with commercials. Not,
sure, and it's one of those deals where it's the interest is to see how it unfolds as opposed how it's going to end. Right, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. And I'm interested on both sides because you got people on both sides that are not only were affected for that time period, but for a lifetime, and that you can't. It's hard to pick and choose your battles.
Right. It's just not a good situation. It just shows failings on everybody.
Exactly.
So lessons should be learned. So, yep.
And that's it, buddy.
That's it.
That's it.
Whoa.
That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our official films then. Woohoo.
All right, Tim.
Let's just come right out of the gates with this, Mr. Ben Harley. First up, and our first official film is from 1976, the Hong Kong I'm going to call it the horror classic, Oily Maniac.
The Oily Maniac, my friend. Yes.
Maniac. Okay, let me give you a
Not to be confused with what, Tim?
The Greasy Strangler. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me give you a one-sentence little storyline here for the Oily Maniac, although the title that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get out movie guy for the oily. I don't even know if movie guy might just look at me at this point and go, I got to read the Oily Maniac. What the hell is this? I'm a professional. You know? 5 years ago, I was on stage. What the hell? So, all right, here we go. So, the Oily Maniac. All right, here we go. A cripple takes revenge on criminals by using a magic spell that transforms him into an oily monster superhero.
Yeah,
okay.
There it is.
Again from 19...
Now,
go ahead.
I swear, Timo, it says something on there, though, Amazon Prime, that it was based on a true story. I swear to God. And I'm like, this can't be right.
I don't think it is. Right. I don't think so.
I swear it says that. You have to double check.
It's based on a true story, and that some screenwriter wrote a screenplay, The Oily Maniac, and they filmed it.
Right, so that's about it.
Yeah. Let's see. This stars Danny Lee from The Killer and The Untold Story. I really like The Untold Story a whole lot. That's really it. It's like this guy. He's quote cripple, and he has like a spell put on him, and then like he does all this stuff, like he pours gasoline on his head, and he basically turns into like a cross between I don't know, Swamp Thing and Bruce
Smog
Lee
monster.
Yeah, a little
Lee,
smog monster, little man thing. Little man thing thrown in there. And very Swamp Thing-ish, though, because he can kind of degrade himself into and not only could he be an oily maniac, but he can degrade himself into an oily puddle as well, which is always good. Yeah. So, again, this is just a Hong Kong cinema, like sleazeball trash goodness. That's what this is. Ben-Hur, I'm going to let you talk about this, but I'm going to say right now, this is the reason that I suffer through crap. This movie right here. What did you think of The Oily Maniac?
I quite enjoyed this, Tim. I know we talked a little bit last week about this. Set it up for the setup. Basically, you called me or texted me and told me about what you were watching, and so I decided to jump on too. And I figured our fans deserve this film.
What a dick you are!
Yes. So, Tim. It's bizarre enough to keep you really interested. Yeah. But like it's not a bad movie. Like I said, it looks great. I mean, it doesn't look near as old as it does, and it is subtitled, but I didn't find that bothersome whatsoever. Maybe because I'm using a lot more closed caption nowadays.
I hear you.
I can't hear. So. Or it's just, I think it's the way people talk. It's not me, it's others.
Right. So. I gotcha. Yeah.
So but I said I did not find that bothersome at all. And basically the story just kind of starts off as a guy who's in love with this girl, the cripple guy. And I do believe it's his uncle. Like all of a sudden, like a fight breaks out in like a warehouse, and it's kind of a misunderstanding. And then her uncle ends up stabbing the guy, and they put him on death row. So while he's on death row, he has a tattoo of a spell or like a potion type thing. You can make yourself an oily maniac. And so once his uncle gets put to death, he has the tattoo and makes the incantations or whatever, and digs a hole.
The spell.
Yeah. Yes. What's kind of funny though, and I feel, and I feel bad for him because he's crippled in this. But man, once he gets to pickaxing, he's not bad. He gets that pickaxe out and he does it right in the middle of his apartment or whatever, like wherever he's living. He just breaks right through the concrete down and gets some oil, basically. Yeah. Strikes oil, gets in the vat of oil, and then once he comes out,
what else is he gonna do?
Right, exactly. But man, once he comes out, he is no longer crippled, and he is more like a super human
monster,
smog monster looking thing, man beast or whatever, and Swamp Thing. And it's funny because he has sleeves though, Tim.
He does have sleeves. Pretty prominent sleeves. You're right.
Yeah. But he just goes on a revenge mission, really. Yeah. And you kind of feel bad for him because there's a certain girl that he likes. And then she ends up having a boyfriend though, and I know that kind of angers him.
Yeah,
and I do like his character because you feel for him, and he does kind of go through a transition,
right?
And a lot of times it's like you want these people to come up, and so they're gonna, and they do, they do.
Yep.
But you do feel bad for him because which kind of threw me. His lady friend gets, she gets murdered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Raped and murdered, and then and it was like her boyfriend's friend that did it, and while the boyfriend let it happen. So then,
it's sleazy, man. It's a sleazy, trashy, but it's like one of those sleazy, trashy movies. It's also made well. The effects are hilarious. I mean, the oily maniac guy has I see where they were going with it.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like there was a bit of a creep factor there. What was funny though is that he ends up. You don't know if he's a villain half the time or if he's a hero, and he does a little kung fu fighting. He's a little cumbersome. Trying to. He basically has the same outfit on that they did in. From Hell It Came with the giant tree that lumbered about.
Exactly.
Or the Moon Rock Men from, was it Missile to the Moon or whatever?
Missile to the Moon, yeah.
So he basically has one of them deals on. And also what's really interesting is that apparently severing the oily maniac's limbs does nothing to stop this thing.
No.
But if you shoot it with the 22, watch it.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Watch out. That'll knock him down for a little while. But
it's good though. I just like the way he creeps around because he does. He turns into a puddle of grease or oil. Sorry, and not the greasy strangler,
right?
Oil. So he and then he scoots around town. And what's cool is like when he can appear and disappear,
right?
Like when they chop at him or whatever, things happen, which is good. And it's a good getaway for him. And it's a good way of sneaking up on people. And he sneaks through sewer, not the sewer, but like the drain pipe at one point. I think he comes through the drain pipe, and it's funny because I think too. Timmy, you don't like you were saying, you don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but I think what happens is the longer or the more people he kills, the more tortured he kind of becomes, and stuff, and is. But I just thought it was great. He the gentleman that he goes after at the the end. Because of his girlfriend.
Right.
Like, the guy's in a house surrounded by, 30 henchmen. Right. Or more, and it's still not enough.
Right. What a hell of a fight.
It's great.
It's your typical Hong Kong cinema fight where there's about 30 guys waiting around for their turn.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're kind of moving a little bit just to get a little motion going, and it's like, just jump them. But, it's... Not for kids. That's for darn sure. So don't let our silliness let you think that, that this is something that should be ever watched. I mean, on some standards, some people may say this should not be watched by anyone ever. I would highly disagree with that, though, because I think it's hilarious. I think this movie was entertaining, exciting, funny as hell. Yeah. Just funny as hell, but it doesn't get boring. And it's definitely got that black magic kind of interesting thing going on, but this has a lot more. This is much more like a black magic combined with a typical American home monster movie.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a cross. Not the witchcraft part as much as just a straight monster. And, it looks good. It's shot well.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. So, and of course, look, all I got to say is this. I bought the damn thing while watching it. I didn't even get to the end. And I bought it.
Yeah.
So that all you got to say for me, that's an oily grape ape up for me for
sure.
The oily maniac. I loved it. I thought it was great. I was so happy I discovered something new that was older like that. So big oily grape ape up. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the same, Timo. Just think it was enjoyable and fun. And now it's now there's some hardcore stuff in it, but it's not like it's not so hardcore that you're you're gonna faint or anything like that. It's just a good time, really. Mm-hmm. It's just I enjoyed it thoroughly, and like I said, find something like that old and that cool and kind of campy and crazy is fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, so definitely a large, very large, oily to the rafters.
An oil can of grape ape up.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on, Mr. Ben Harley. A little bit of a contrast in style and scope here. We have from, let's see now, this is a little newer than movies I tend to like. Little bit newer, but from 1925, we have the classic silent film, The Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, Timo.
Yes, with Lon Chaney, Senor.
Senor. He did a few little things, right?
I've heard of him. Yeah,
he did about 1,001 things. Right?
Yeah, he created another Lon Chaney. That's how tough he is.
Sure.
Yeah, so
he created a universal monster.
Yeah. So we got Lon Chaney, got Mary Philbin in it as the heroine of the film. Yeah. Let's see. Let me get you one. I know everybody knows what Phantom of the Opera is about. Let me just get you a movie guy out, and I'm sure he'll be much more. Yeah. He'll feel much more important reading the storyline for Phantom of the Opera than the Oily Maniac.
Sure.
So let's get movie guy out here and give you a one-sentence storyline for the Phantom of the Opera. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
A mad, disfigured composer seeks love with a lovely young opera singer. Yep. Kind of. Right. Yeah. Okay, so this is the original. This is now it is based on a book I think that was written about 10 years prior, maybe 15 years prior to the filming of this. And first up, it is Phantom of the Opera. What I do like about this, is that there's no sound. No. Now, if you watch it, the powers that be these days put like an orchestral score over it. I like this because there's no opera.
No,
and I don't like opera.
No opera.
So in modern films, if they're doing Phantom of the Opera, you're always stuck with 5 to 10 minutes of inserts of crap opera. No offense to people who like opera. I doubt you listen to the show. Yeah. But no offense, I just don't like it. Yes, I don't find it horrifying. I don't like it in a horror movie. Now, since this does not have actual, dialogue sound, there is none of that. So it's basically just the story about what's going on around it. Now, Ben Harley, have you seen this, the original Phantom of the Opera before?
Yes.
All right. What did you think of coming back to it?
Oh, it's been a long time. I was trying to think, like, the last time I saw it, it's probably been 40 some odd years ago, because I remember watching it when I was a kid, when we used to watch the reel-to-reel stuff, and when I go to the library, and I remember watching it there, and I'm trying to think if I ever really sat and watched it again, because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I remember about it, but then there was a lot I didn't. You know what I mean? And I just think it was one of those things. Not that I didn't like the Phantom of the Opera, I found him cool. And I used to have back, in the day when they had all the models, the kits and stuff, and I had a Phantom of the Opera, and I always thought he was kind of cool, creepy looking, and I still do.
Right.
But it's been so long since I watched this, and I really enjoyed it. But for me in this, and because so many people, and me included, and it's not because I'm an opera lover either, but like the Andrew Lloyd Webber, we've been pounded over the head with that Phantom of the Opera for so long that you don't really, except for some of the iconic pictures of Lon Chaney, you don't really, and this is what's cool about it. Yeah, it is it is about love.
It's creepy though. It's icky love.
But it's icky love. It's not. Yeah, it's not like I love you. Why don't you love me? And like
music of the night. There's none of that crap. There's no Gerard Butler with muscles running around. There ain't nothing attractive about Chaney in this. Nothing. No. Not his demeanor. Not what he's after. He's a monster. He's a villain in this. He's a criminal insane.
Yeah, he is totally.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I had forgot kind of what the mask looked like.
Oh yeah, that he wears.
And I'm gonna tell you what, I find that mask almost creepier than what he looks like without it. It's so bizarre.
Yeah,
looking.
That's what even Angio and I were saying. Because I told her while we were watching the movie, because look, here's the thing. I can't remember, but either this or Nosferatu are the first silent films I've ever seen. I saw them really close to each other. Yeah. Almost back to back. And where Nosferatu, I thought was like really creepy. Like I was, this is kind of cool. It's creepy, even though it's really clunky and stuff. It's very creepy. I like the visuals and stuff. This one I thought was it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was it sucked me in. I mean, it completely sucked me in. And the thing is it's by far the best telling of this because it cuts out the opera part and leaves you with the story of, okay?
Yep.
But I told her, I said, there's some iconic images like you said. Now, his face is one. Okay, like the face that he puts up. Now, of course, we all know the legend that Chaney did that himself, and it was not comfortable. It didn't look comfortable.
No,
pulling your nose up like that with wire and tape and stuff. But and the other iconic scene is at the masquerade ball where he comes in with the big skull on his head. That's another iconic picture of him. I said, but the one that always gets forgotten is that damn fake face he wears around. And I said the same thing. I said, that is a more unsettling almost than
very.
Yeah.
When he first comes up and taps her on the shoulder and she turns around, I was like, the old Three Stooges, like,
right.
I was like, wow, and it's like, it's non-emotional.
Right.
And it's like, and then there's like a little veil almost below where his lips
it blows around.
And it blows around when he talks. And then but the face itself is so void, it's so void of any emotion or any.
Right.
It's like, oh man, it's like, it reminds me a little bit of the tourist trap stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's so much more creepy than the half face looking, I don't know, thing from, you know what I mean?
Everything else that's ever been done with family opera is not very good. And it's too romantic and it's too much of a costume dramas and stuff. They don't get down to the brass tacks of the whole. This is the version. That being said, there's multiple versions of this film. I mean, this is like an Exorcist movie. They released it and kept tinkering with it over and over again.
Yes.
When they released it, it was like an hour and 50 minutes long. That was in 25. Then in 1929, they released an hour and 18 minute long version. They cut shit out and reshot stuff. So they reshot things. And then they made a sound version of it.
Yeah.
And that's been lost, but there's still audio available somewhere. I think it is on the Kino Blu-ray. I do have the Kino Blu-ray. I didn't get through all of it. I just watched, it's a double disc thing. I just watched the movie, but it's shot with, okay, now here's the most interesting thing, okay, about of the different versions of this and how it's shot.
Yeah.
The movie has tints in it, so it's tinted. And it does have some.
There's tinted versions,
there's two strip color in it too.
Yeah.
And so how they did that was they placed two cameras side by side, and they would shoot like the two different lenses, I guess, or the two different tints, so that they could pick out stuff and so that they could decide what to make color, because they call it 3-strip Technicolor, is like blue, red, and green. So this was like a 2-strip early type of deal. So what happened was, they shot the film basically twice with cameras that were locked in together so they could shoot the same film. Now, inadvertently, what that did, they made a 3D version of it.
Wow.
Inadvertently, they shot it just like people started shooting 3D movies.
Yeah.
And there has been, over the last, let's say, I think 10 years or 5 years, something like that. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's become of it. I don't know anything else. But I did hear that there was quite a push for them to restore the 3D version of it.
Oh, wow.
Now, remember, they didn't intend to do that.
For it to be,
But it just happened to be that way. They figured out that was the way to shoot. I'm not so sure they didn't figure out how to do 3D movies based off that. Like what happened. I don't know how they stumbled upon that would work, and stuff like that. But very, very interesting. I would love to see the 3D, version of this and everything. But there's been so many cuts, so many different takes in this movie. Now, I watched a shorter version for this review. Okay, I watched the hour and 18, but the only version I've ever seen is the long one.
Yeah,
before this, and I will tell you that the short version is much better. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I can't remember scene by scene, shot by shot. I just remember the feel of it.
Sure.
And I loved this movie when I saw it the first time, but I loved it even more watching a truncated version of it. Thinking it was great. And I know it's not easy to find a good transfer of this or anything, or make a good transfer based on the elements left. Kino did a damn good job, though, doing it, I think.
Yeah, because you sent me the DVD of it, I didn't have a chance to watch the DVD. So I was looking on YouTube, and then I also on Amazon Prime. And
it's on Prime.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched the first 20 minutes on YouTube. There was so many different versions of it. So many different. I'm like, oh, which is, and then they had tinted versions and, and the one that I watched on YouTube, the tinted version looked really pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And then they had an HD and stuff, but I did end up watching the majority of it was the long version on Amazon Prime.
Right.
And which was good. I did enjoy it. I must say, coming back and watching this, I feel that this is much more of a better movie than I ever thought it was.
Yeah.
I guess I wish I would have watched it more maybe back then. But same thing with The Hunchback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember these films, but I just, and I remember bits and pieces. I just never really watched them all the time.
Right.
But this is a really good movie. I mean, it's good, and me, even things being slow, just thinking about a movie that you got. First off, you gotta read it, and then you're like, oh my god, it's an hour and 40 minutes. I'm like, oh my god. But then it just didn't feel bad to me.
No.
I enjoyed. For the most part, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story because those guys, they bought the opera house, and then oh yeah, by the way, there's probably a phantom.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Bye. See you later. Yeah, bye.
That was pretty good. For a guy who sold his house, I was like, boy, I can do that to our buyers,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they don't believe it, but then they see the phantom, or whatever, the guy sitting in the box or the balcony seat and stuff. And from there on, it gets really good. I liked most of the characters in it. I thought, and what makes me laugh a little bit about these older ones, the overacting is just awesome. Just so awesome,
Yeah.
And you have to, you gotta move your face more, or overemphasize things, and stuff. And I found that I didn't even really need a lot of the dialogue.
Right.
I swear, I know what's going on. Right. I get it.
Exactly.
But I just enjoyed it, Tim. I thought what blew me away is that the mask. The mask was really, blew me away.
Right.
And I will also say there was the carriage scene. I didn't remember that when he takes off in the carriage.
I
love that scene. That was awesome, And I feel like a lot of people, Rob Zombie being one of them, but a lot of people, maybe even the 60s horror genre and the people that were doing stuff then were very influenced by, I think, more by him, by the Phantom's creepiness than maybe, let's say, I don't know, so another monster, I guess. But because I just say I don't know, when he was in that carriage and he was cruising and he was going fast and he was like, he's laughing and stuff. It reminded me of the Rat Fink stuff, or I don't know, it's just like that look reminding me of 60s.
Well, you see it later,
pop horror.
Yeah, you see it later in the Gothic films and Body Snatcher and things like that, even the Val Lewton stuff. But and the thing is too is that his face was a secret. Even Mary Philbin, that reaction she has when she pulls his mask off, that was real. She didn't see him before they shot that scene.
Oh, wow.
And so she was really terrified. And apparently he called in the cameraman or something after he got his face done up the first time and scared the shit out of him. He almost pissed his pants. The cameraman said, I almost peed my pants. And Chaney scared him, and the camera guy's like, "What the hell? Don't do that." He's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Nothing. You've already given me what I needed." He knew that it was going to work when he did that. Interesting too. That's that set is very famous. The Phantom stage is very famous, and I do believe it was torn down in 2014, maybe finally. Wow. It was Soundstage 28. And I thought it was still standing, but I had read so take it for what's worth. I'm not standing there looking at it. I don't know. But it was the oldest standing interior set in the world. And the thing is that the reason they didn't tear it down is every time they tried, workers got killed.
Oh, wow.
And they said it was the ghost of Chaney.
Really?
It was his ghost. Yeah, that's what they blamed it on, basically, was Chaney's ghost. And watching this movie and seeing his makeup, and I love Jack Pierce. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Jack Pierce, but it makes me wonder what Universal horror would have been had he lived.
Right.
Because he was supposed to play Dracula. He would have played Frankenstein's monster. He would have done all these things. So it also makes me wonder, where would we be at with makeup today had he lived? Where would we be? Because he was look, if you just take a still of that family opera and take away all of your entire lifetime of seeing it so that you've become numb to it, look at it. That's his face.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. That's his face with makeup and some wires and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just it's incredible. It's incredible to me. And I think it's scarier than you remember. When you watch the movie and see him, you know what he looks like, but you're like, man, that is kind of creepy. Can you imagine? There were people, I mean, there was reports everywhere. People were fainting during that scene.
Really?
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, they were fainting when they saw his face and everything. So this movie, to me, from 1925, not only holds up, but I think is improving with age.
Yeah.
I think it's getting better and better. This is an odd way of putting this, Ben Harley, but the Family Opera is a grape ape up to the operatic rafters.
Anyway, Timo.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad I picked it, because I was a little nervous. I hadn't seen it in so long, and I want, a lot of these ones I want to go back and revisit and things like that. And, but yeah, this movie for me was cool because, I knew, just watching it visually, what you have to do when you don't have sound. And they did it. And it's funny, a lot of it, like with these ballerinas running around and stuff, you know what I mean? And just the way they would do it and do these things was really cool for me. And and that kind of sucked me in.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want to say one thing too, Timo. The ending of the movie to me was flipping fantastic. I loved it.
I haven't got to it yet, but I told Angio like halfway through the movie we were watching, I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I said, but the end of this film, the very end of it, just always makes me. It's like the end of Targets. The movie Targets. It makes you stand up and go, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just what he does.
Yeah.
To stop the crowd from coming at him, to me, is one of the most brilliant things in cinema history. And just to see him let it go and laugh it off knowing he's doomed. And that is the most brilliant, funny, ironic, and kind of a dick move. Yeah. All at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because they're so scared of him, and he's like, he acts like he has something in his hand, like he's gonna, and they believe him, and they're like, and then he opens his hand, I have nothing, and then starts laughing,
right?
And it's hilarious, and they just beat the hell, and then throw him in the river. And what it's kind of funny is, I should say, it's funny they beat him up, throw him in the river, but I'm like, then they kind of left that open for a part 2 because he just sinks, and it's like.
Right.
Well, maybe he could have, whatever. I mean, I don't care. I'm just saying, but I liked that too. But that ending part when he stood there and he was like, and then laughs it off while they attack him was awesome because it just, now this is going to sound weird, but it reminds me of, there's one of my favorite animated movies, the Batman animated series. There's a part at the end where the Mask of the Phantasm has the Joker and she's pummeled him, but then all these explosions go off and he knows he's doomed and he just starts laughing. And to me, it's one of my favorite parts of any cinema ever because he knows he's doomed, but it's hilarious to him. And that's what that reminded me of too. I was like, that's just so awesome. He knows it's over, but it's still such a gigantic joke. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's insanity. You know what I mean? And on full, right there in front of you. And I loved it. I thought, to me, I was like, yes, that's a great ending. Yeah. Because a lot of times these movies and the Universal ones, I love them, but we've talked about this. They peter out. They're just, they're done and boom, it's over.
Right.
This one, it was, to me, it was like, yes, that's awesome. Now it's over.
Right. Right. That's what you want, And what was fun too is that Angio, we had been talking over the last couple of years, actually. We just really hadn't done it, that she wanted to see a Lon Chaney movie. She'd never seen some with Lon Chaney. I thought about the Unholy Three because it's his only sound thing he did, but at the same time, I'm glad we did this one because it was our introduction to him, and I think it's a great introduction. And I can tell you right now that at the end of the movie, I actually caught myself smiling, because I knew it was coming, and when I saw it, it never lets me down. And I was smiling, and I said out loud, and I wasn't talking to anyone, I said, "What a great film." Yeah. And I said it out loud, and I don't ever do that hardly at all. And I do it only on movies like There Will Be Blood and stuff that I'm like, what a great film. I mean, just what a great film. This is, to me, it's one of the greatest films ever made, you know, and stuff. So for me, the Phantom of the Opera is great. It's not an oily Great Bape up to the Rafters, the operatic Rafters, but it is a Great Bape up to the operatic Rafters. People should go back and watch this. It's public domain, so you can find it almost anywhere like you did. Go back and watch it. I would suggest watching a shorter version a little bit, but I mean, you watch longer version, and I can't steer you away from it because that was the only thing I had seen up until last night. Yeah. I hadn't seen the truncated version. I love the truncated version, but I love the longer version too. But they're all a little different, but they are the same movie. They're just a little different. You know, I'm not going to sit through 4 hours of this just to catch a couple of shots of streets and things like that or whatever they change, you know. But either way, no matter what you find of this, watch it. It's worth it.
Yes.
A lot of fun. It sucks you in. It's not slow. It's got humor. I mean, it made me laugh a few times. I mean, it's got some creep out moments.
Yeah. Lon Chaney has some definite humor.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the part where he goes down to tip the guy, Raoul's brother, over in the boat. He thinks it's funny. He's excited about it.
Some of those stagehands have they're like kind of a little bit of a comedy. That one guy that looks like a Mario. He was pretty funny in it. But again, great, huge Great Bape up to the Rafters. You?
Yeah, me too, Timo. And I must say that was the largest mob I think I've ever seen on film, too.
I actually mentioned to Angie, I said, what you're seeing here is probably, if not the first, one of the original angry mobs with the torches and pitchforks. Yep. One of the, I didn't see any pitchforks, but I saw a lot of torches. Lots of torches. So excellent. All right. Well, we got 2 huge Great Bapes up for the 1925-29. It was redone and everything. Phantom of the Opera. And 2 big Great Bapes up for Oily Maniac.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oily Great Bapes up. Yeah. It's hard to hold the cup, but.
Yeah. What a week, Ben Harley. Vette City Con, moving to Dermal Ridge. Great Bapes up on Oily Maniac and Phantom of the Opera. How do we top this? I'm going to tell you how we're going to top this, Ben Harley. Next week is going to be a new era in the Tim and Harley show.
Yes.
We are going to be recording from the brand new Raven's Nest at Dermal Ridge. Dermal Ridge.
So, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be.
Yes, but it was some good years at the Raven's Nest. We're going to miss it. But yes, we must move forward, Timo.
Must move forward.
Timo and Harley's ghost will still be there. So.
They might try to give me the receipt and give me the house back after that. But so anyway, all right, Mr. Ben Harley. Well, from the last time signing out from the Oasis till next week when we are coming to you from Dermal Ridge. Stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.